Okay, let's walk through the steps that you need to walk through to create this sample JDBC client. Right now I have NetBeans open. What I want to do is just create a simple Java application. So I'm going to go to the File menu, choose New Project, which is the first menu option. With the screen that comes up, I'm going to choose Java, which should be the default, and I'm going to choose Java Application. Once I've done this, I'm just going to hit Next. Now for the project name, I'm going to type JDBC Example. You should also browse to the folder in which you want to store your data. I'm not going to do that here because mine is where I want it to be. After I do this, I'm going to click Finish. Okay. Now it puts a shell in here called JDBC Example. That's the name of the class. It also names the package the same name but in all lowercase. And it gives you a stub main method. Before we begin, what I want to do is create a database connection. Now we're going to use the Berks database server that you connected to earlier this semester. So I'm going to click over here on the left under Services, and you'll notice here that you have databases at the top. Excuse me. If I right click over there, I'm going to click New Connection, and I'm going to choose for my driver MySQL. Now we don't have to do anything here, we just have to hit the next button. Now what I'm going to do here, under host, I'm going to type istdata.bk.psu.edu. edu. The port number should be 3306. The database should be your account name. Like for mine, for example, is JAS86. And it'll be for you whatever you happen to use. For the username, it's going to be the same as your database. You can type in the password or you can leave it blank. I'm going to leave it blank for now. However, if you do want to type it in, you certainly can type it in and hit Test Connection to make sure that you can connect to the database. Now I'm going to hit Next here, but what I'm going to do, I guess I need to do, is type in my password. I'm going to say Test Connection, and it tells me down here the connection succeeded. Now you can check this here to say remember password, but it really doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it alone. So I'm going to hit Next. There's really nothing for me to do here, nothing here. So I'm just going to hit Finish. And you should, over on the left, see a very long string pop up under databases, starting with the letters JDBC:MySQL. We're going to need this later. Now, coming back to the code. On Canvas, you have the code you need to type in. What I would recommend doing is wiping this out, pausing the video, and typing in the code that you find on Canvas. Okay, do you have everything typed in? If so, this is approximately what it should look like. What we have here is just a simple main method, but what it does is it connects to your database and it pulls data from the test_SQL table that you created previously. Now, if you look at what's going on here, we have three constants, three simple strings, and this is just to make our connection a little bit easier. The first one is the one that's most important. This specifies the URL for our database. Now if you look at the string that's being assigned here, it looks very similar to the database connection name that you see over on the left under Services. It's a little bit shorter because we don't need everything that comes along with the original connection. We just need JDBC:MySQL:, 2 forward slashes, and then the server name, istdata.bk.psu.edu, another colon, the port number, which is 3306, a forward slash, and then our database name, in this case JAS86. Now one thing I want to caution you against before trying to run this. This DB password constant right now for me has a bunch of dots. Make sure that you type in your password and your username. Remember that the JS86 in this example has to be replaced with your username. The main method, if you take a look at it, creates three objects: a connection, a statement, and a result set. Now the connection is where we actually connect to the database. We create a connection object that we can then use to issue queries, for example. On line 30 here, we create what's called a statement object. Now a statement object is kind of a precursor to being able to execute a query. We provide the query in the next step. We call a method of the statement object called execute query, and the query is just a simple select statement. We specify that as a string, as an argument to the execute query method, and what it returns back to us is a result set object. Now we're going to do a couple things with that. Once we have the result set object, I'm going to grab the metadata on line 36. Then I'm going to print out the column names using system.out.printf. The metadata is information about the result set. Now this includes column names among other things. There are methods available to get the column names, as you can see here. We just have to specify which columns. In this case I'm asking for columns 1, 2, and 3 because there are 3 columns in the table. The while loop, which follows, actually goes through the results and allows us to print out each row in turn, again using system.out.printf. All of this database connection code is encapsulated within a try-catch block. If there are problems, such as we can't connect to the database or there's an issue with our statement or a query, it will throw an exception that we can then trap and print the message to the screen. So what I'm going to do here is run this. Uh-oh, we have a problem. It tells me that no suitable driver was found for this, which is my database connection URL. It compiled, but it would not run. So how do we get that? Well, we have to do one more step. Over here under projects, we see our project. We also see this item here that says libraries and it has the JDK by default. What we have to do here is add the library which allows us to connect to the MySQL database. If I right click, I can add a library. And let me just move this over. And I can find, since it's in alphabetical order, the MySQL JDBC driver. What I want to do is add that library. When I do, you'll see over here on the left that it will pop up under this libraries folder. Now I think I'm ready to run. So I'm going to press run. Uh-oh. Well, there's a reason this access is denied, because I didn't actually type in my password. So I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to run it again. Oh, there it is. All the data that I have in the table dumps to the screen. The ID, the name, and the power. If you see this, everything worked and everything has functioned as it should.